Hi, my name is Jacqui-Lee Pryce, former boxer, and I spent many years in the sport as a boxing coach and judge. Today I'm reviewing the Dickens and Cacace fight card. This card has three big talking points for me. A statement performance from Pierce O'Leary, a young prospect worth keeping your eye on, Barry McReynolds, and a very interesting tactical world title fight between Jazza Dickens and Anthony Cacace. One of the standout performances on the card came from Pierce O'Leary against Maxi Hughes. From the opening bell, O'Leary set the tone. Good feet, walking his man down, cutting off the ring, and not giving Hughes any opportunity to set his feet. And everything he was throwing had bad intent. Yeah, the shots were heavy, especially the hook to the body, and even though they were partially blocked, you could see that they were having some effect. Now, credit to Maxi Hughes, he did take the fight at short notice after the original opponent, Mark Chamberlain, was ruled out. And he was trying to do the right things, using his feet, trying to box off the back foot, and trying to fire back when he could. But the problem was O'Leary just wouldn't stop walking him down or let him off the hook. And when Hughes did stand and trade, O'Leary was coming off the best in the exchanges. There was a nice little moment where O'Leary set a trap, feinting with the right hand, drew the counter and caught Hughes with a lovely left hook. By the middle of the fight, you can definitely see the difference in power. O'Leary's shots were having an effect, yet Hughes' shots weren't really troubling him. And it was that constant pressure and accumulation of heavy shots that eventually had the corner step in and call the fight off. A very impressive performance from Pierce O'Leary, who picked up the IBO Super Lightweight world title. Another one on the card worth mentioning, Barry McReynolds, a super lightweight prospect boxing out of the Holy Trinity gym. And this kid I've known about for a while, and Anthony Cacace mentioned him to me and said, basically keep an eye on this kid because he can fight. And watching him on Saturday, you can see exactly what he meant. And yeah, you can say he fought a journeyman, but that doesn't really matter because when a kid can fight, you can see it straight away. Good shot selection, nice and composed, and some lovely work setting up that left hook to the body. He wasn't rushing his work. He was building with double attacks and phases, and he looked very, very comfortable in there. So he's definitely one to keep an eye on as he moves through the levels. So to the headliner, a fight between two fighters who have taken the very long, hard road to the top of the sport. On the one side, you've got Jazza Dickens, the defending WBA Super Featherweight world champion, a fighter who's had to scrape and crawl his way back into position more than once. But he picked himself up, brushed himself off, and fought his way back to contention and ended up holding a world title. And on the other side, you've got Anthony Cacace, a man who's proven himself at world level, a former IBF and IBO world champion, and that was all off the back of inactivity. He's a fighter who's been in with some real top names, and he's shown that he has real dimensions to his boxing. On paper, a lot of people were looking at the main event and thinking we might get fireworks. But when you've got two experienced, clever, high-level fighters in there, sometimes you don't get the humdinger you expect. But with two experienced operators, you get more of a technical chess match. One that Anthony Cacace won by way of unanimous decision. So yeah, let's break it down. Right away, you see Cacace, the taller, rangier fighter, using that long, pouring jab. Not always a stiff piston-like jab, more like a measuring stick. He's pouring it out, judging the distance and giving Dickens something to think about. Dickens, southpaw, is trying to draw him in with that front foot feint. He isn't throwing a lot. He's staying switched on and not making himself an easy target. The changing levels, the feinting upstairs and going downstairs. He's moving his upper body, taking his head off the centre line. That switched on defensive awareness. All of that had Cacace missing at times, and it was stopping him really getting into his flow. So you've got to give Dickens his credit. He's rugged, relentless and awkward. And that's why, even when Cacace was having success, he wasn't able to run away with it in spectacular fashion. He had to think, he had to stay disciplined, he had to be patient. For me, round 5 is where Cacace really starts to edge it. Before then, it was a kind of pretty even cat and mouse fight. Better shot variation, more authority, good use of angles, and yeah, that backhand is landing cleaner. Dickens, he tries to respond, he holds on, he turns his man, and he just gets himself a little breather. But that round felt like the round where Cacace found the lock and he was slowly turning the key. From round 6 to 8 onwards, Cacace controls the tempo. He's winging in them shots from long range, but to be fair, Dickens is having his moments. He's catching Cacace on the counter here and there. He's making him miss and he's stopping him, letting his hands go. Around the 8th round, there's an interesting moment in Cacace's corner. He says that he can't get his jab off. And at this point, you're thinking, even though Dickens isn't throwing much, he's making Cacace work for everything. But again, Cacace starts adding in a few new looks, a nice right-hand hook combination. He's starting to get off that uppercut. Oh, and that reverse 1-2, which is really hard for a southpaw to defend against. I think it's difficult for anybody to defend against, to be fair. Round 9, fair play to Jazza Dickens, because he just wasn't going to accept that this fight was, moving away from him. He came out with a bit more intent, applied pressure. He had some success and he was landing clean shots. It was a really, really good round for him. And there's also an accidental clash of heads that interrupts the flow. But listen, Dickens was just marching forward. In the final stretch, both guys were doing a really good job at stopping the other from getting into a really good rhythm. Cacace is boxing smart, using angles, just staying out of range, and then landing some clean shots, then getting off on his bike. Dickens is still coming forward in the 12th round. He's stalking, trying to make something happen. But Cacace, he stays disciplined, picks him off, and keeps moving. The scorecards come back 115-113. 116-112 and 116-113. And the new WBA Super Featherweight champion is Anthony Cacace. After the fight, Cacace said he wasn't completely happy with his performance. Things in camp hadn't gone perfect. He was nursing a hand injury and he didn't get the sparring. And this is where boxing IQ matters. When one tool isn't working the way you want it to, you've got to go grab another tool from the kit. And Cacace has plenty of them. Did we see the same Cacace that fought Cordina, Warrington, Wood? No. But he did find a way to win. And, at world level, that's what champions do. Overall, I enjoyed this card. O'Leary, Carroll, both leave world champions. Pierce O'Leary entered the world level status and he put others in the division on notice. Looking ahead, a fight between Pierce O'Leary and Dalton Smith or Adam Azim is very, very interesting. But you know what? I would still like to see that fight between him and Mark Chamberlain. But Pierce O'Leary has other ideas. He wants to unify. He's made that clear. So yeah, looking forward to seeing how that all develops. And Anthony Cacace leaves a double world champion. He's eyeing up Nunes. So please, boxing gods, do your thing. If you want an authentic voice in boxing, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, drop a comment in the comments section, and see you in the next one.